the current struggles of Max Verstappen and his Red Bull F1 team. Red Bull F1 dominated the last two Formula One seasons with unbeatable challenges, and no rival was in the grid to beat them. But at the beginning of the 2024 season, the team got hurt a lot by internal political issues and also with its chief technical officer, Adrian Newey's decision to leave the team by the end of this season. Then the team was in a slow downfall, and teams like McLaren and Mercedes have been able to develop their challenges to a pace that directly challenges the Red Bull drivers. Within the last 4 races, they failed to record any victories, and both Mercedes and McLaren drivers have started to dominate the championship. Most notably, Sergio Perez was totally out of form, and this has also become a huge headache for the Red Bull team to maintain their position within the championship. Through this video, we are going to discuss about the current struggles of Max Verstappen and the Red Bull F1 team in detail, as well as the remedies for them for a quick recovery. Before diving deep into the content, remember to hit the subscribe button and bell icon for more interesting F1 videos. After a season which they recorded 21 victories out of 22 races, most people thought that they would be able to continue the same momentum to the 2024 season. In the initial stage, Verstappen was able to dominate the season without a clear rival as predicted. But when the season progressed, Ferrari once appeared as a big threat for the Milton Keynes-based team. However, they were not able to continue the same momentum for a long period of time. Then McLaren was on a continuous rise, and finally, they have been able to improve their car to a state where it is even faster than the Rb-20 car of the Red Bull F1 team. Within the last few weeks, Mercedes' team has been able to push their car into a state where they can directly challenge both Red Bull and McLaren. Even though Ferrari team is not in a powerful position to match with the phase of these 3 teams, they also possessed something to make troubles at the top. All these problems within the Red Bull team has been further aggravated by Sergio Perez's current form. He got his contract extension even when he was partially out of form. Even after receiving his extension, the Mexican was able to score only 24 points within 5 races. Now Red Bull is in the top spot of the constructors' standings with 408 points, and both McLaren and Ferrari are in a touchable distance to Red Bull with 366 and 345 points. As considerable contribution to the constructors' standings happens only from Verstappen, there is a higher chance of getting beaten by any of the rivals in the second half of the 2024 championship. So Red Bull team is in a huge struggle now, and they need a quick solution to solve these to keep their championship hopes alive for the rest of the season. When we look at the current performance of Max Verstappen, he failed to record victories mostly due to the lack of sufficient support from his challenger. It was clearly highlighted in most of the recent qualifying sessions. Both McLaren and Mercedes challengers performed relatively better than the Rb-20, which dominated the initial stages of the 2024 season. They clearly need improvements regarding the pace of their car, unless they will face considerable problems in the second half while competing with equally powerful challengers like McLaren and Mercedes. Now there is a 3-week break ahead of the home Grand Prix of Max Verstappen in Zandvoort. Most probably, Red Bull engineers can do something to their challenger to improve its performance. If we carefully examine, the downfall of the Red Bull team slowly began since the announcement of the departure of Adrian Newey. It is not clear whether he is giving his 100% to the Austrian racing outfit after announcing his decision. But he is the key figure behind the success of the Red Bull F1 team since its beginning by designing challenges with championship-winning potential. Apart from Newey, Red Bull has lost the service of a number of its top crew members in recent years, and it also become a big problem for Red Bull soon. Most recently, its sporting director, Jonathan Wheatley, who was with the team since 2006, also decided to leave the team with the hope of joining the Audi F1 project. So Red Bull must come up with better solutions to retain their experienced workforce with their team. Sergio Perez has been given shorter assurance of his seat, and it is essential for him to improve his performance in the second half, unless he will most probably replaced. That is the best possible solution that Red Bull can have to hold the top spot of the constructors' standings. However, they need a talented and experienced one to replace Perez in the second half. Ricciardo, Tsunoda and Lawson are the best replacement options that they have. Even though there were big hopes on Ricciardo when he was added to the driver lineup of the sister team of Red Bull, VCRB, he failed to perform up to expectations. He is not consistent, and simply, Ricciardo is not the same driver that we saw 5 to 6 years ago. Out of Tsunoda and Ricciardo, the Japanese driver has scored more points than the ex-Red Bull driver. But it is not clear whether he possessed sufficient skill set to drive alongside with a three-time champion like Verstappen. Liam Lawson performed well in his limited F1 appearances, and Red Bull can gamble by fielding the Kiwi as the replacement of Perez in case if he underperforms. Anyhow, they lost the golden opportunity of adding a talented and experienced driver like Carlos Sainz to their 2025 driver lineup as the teammate of Max Verstappen by extending the current contract of Perez. Sainz has been in good form since the start of the season and is a more consistent performer who becomes lethal when his SF24 Challenger performs well. Anyhow, he decided to join with Williams' F1 team already, and Red Bull will need to give an extra effort to find a talented driver to replace Perez if he fails continuously in the second half of the 2024 season too. If we turn back to Max Verstappen, there are some rumors that the Dutchman is going to join with Mercedes' F1 team for the 2025 season, as the German racing outfit hasn't announced any replacement for Hamilton, who is set to join Ferrari at the end of this season. With the huge improvements shown by Mercedes' F1 team in the recent past, it wouldn't be a difficult task for Toto Wolff to change the mindset of Verstappen towards his team. If he also leaves, what will happen to Red Bull team? Without Verstappen and Newey, this team will be nothing. What do you think about the current momentum of the Red Bull F1 team? Share your thoughts in the comment section below.